6:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Dulmin Samarasinghe, assisted by Chatura, and read by Geethanjali Ramanayaka. The headlines. Measures are in place to commence the GCE ordinary level and advanced level classes. Accounts of Sri Lankans named in the Pandora Papers are being examined. The government decides not to promote palm oil cultivations. More than 3,000 children are on the waiting list for heart surgeries. The all-share price index of the Colombo Stock Exchange crosses 10,000 points mark. Foreign news, Chinese President Xi Jinping marks 50th anniversary at the UN. Sports, cricket, Sri Lanka Under-19 wins the series 5-0. Local news in detail now. Secretary to the Ministry of Education, Professor Kapila Perera, says that all measures are in place to commence the GCE ordinary level and the advanced level classes in all schools. Accordingly, vaccination of those students has been expedited. The government decided recently to open schools gradually, which were closed due to the COVID pandemic. Under the first phase, schools with less than 200 students are opened on Thursday. Primary sections of all schools were opened today under the second phase. Secretary to the Ministry of Education, Professor Kapila Perera, said that opening of schools can be made more efficient if parents act with responsibility by following health guidelines. The Commission to Investigate Bribery or Corruption examines local accounts of Sri Lankans named in the Pandora Papers. The officials of the Commission have taken into custody the documents related to the accounts. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa ordered recently to conduct investigations into the persons named in Pandora Papers. Accordingly, the Commission said it has commenced investigations into 6 persons, including Thiru Nadeshan. Secretary to the Commission, Apsara Kaldera, said they would record statements from the relevant individuals. The government has taken steps to continue with the decision not to promote palm oil cultivations. According to the recommendations of the Presidential Task Force for a Sustainable Economy, palm oil cultivations island-wide will be removed. Proposals have been made to cultivate environmental-friendly plant varieties in those lands. Minister Mahinda Amaravira inquired from the officials of the Central Environmental Authority about palm oil cultivations. They pointed out that the palm oil cultivations cannot be managed under the National Environmental Act. It has been disclosed that a palm oil tree needs about 400 litres of water per day. Director of the Lady Ridgeway Hospital in Colombo, Dr. G. Vijaysurya, said there are more than 3,500 children in the waiting list for heart surgeries. The surgeries have been delayed due to lack of facilities. He said that the number of daily surgeries can be increased if the work on the 12-story building under construction is completed. The construction of the building are scheduled to be completed in the middle of next year. Dr. Vijaysurya said that constructions could be expedited if local and foreign philanthropists give more support. He said that it could minimize the number of children's deaths by expediting heart surgeries. The all-share price index of the Colombo Stock Exchange has surpassed the 10,000 points mark for the first time in history. The all-share price index closed at 10,046.80 points at the end of trading today, which is an increase of 1.33% from the previous day. Over 235.9 million shares were traded today and the market turnover was 6.85 billion rupees. Meanwhile, the S&P SL20 closed at 3,652.61 points today, up by 1.30% from the previous day. Minister S.M. Chandrasena says that the government has taken steps to encourage farmers for environmental-friendly organic farming by discouraging the use of chemical fertilizer. He pointed out that more than 160,000 have become kidney patients after 60 years of using chemical fertilizer. 10,000 out of them die annually. He said today during a media briefing at Podujana Perumuna party headquarters that nearly 12,000 new patients are found annually. He emphasized that the policy of the president is to provide a healthy meal to the people through organic cultivations. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. State Pharmaceuticals Corporation says that the reports on importing anesthetic drugs are false. General Manager of the corporation, Dinusha Dasanayaka, said that there is an attempt to embarrass the corporation and its officials by maliciously highlighting false information. He said that ephedrine is not an anesthetic drug and it is used to maintain blood pressure. Purchases have been made from a qualified supplier according to the 2022 tender provided by the Medical Supplies Division. He further said that the details mentioned about the relevant purchasing are false. The General Manager said that legal action would be taken against those who spread falsehoods against the State Pharmaceuticals Corporation, which has 50 years of reputation and are also performing an important task on corona vaccinations. The Colombo High Court today served indictments on former Western Province Governor Asad Salih over the controversial statement he had made during a media briefing early this year. The case was called before the High Court Judge Amal Ranaraja this morning. The leader of the National Unity Front, who was on a wheelchair, was produced in court. Later, the indictments filed by the Attorney General were served on Asad Salih. Justice Ranaraja scheduled further hearings of the case for the 2nd of November and issued summons on the witnesses in the case to appear before the court on that day. The Court of Appeal today issued a writ order quashing the case filed against High Court Judge Gihan Pilapitiya in the Nugegoda Magistrate Court on the instructions of the Attorney General. The court also issued another writ order quashing the Attorney General's decision to name High Court Judge Gihan Pilapitiya as a suspect in the case. The order was issued by a judge bench comprising Justice Sobita Rajakaruna and Dhammika Ganepala. And that ends local news.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
Sri Lanka Pharmaceuticals Corporation General Manager Dinusha Dasanayaka said 305,370 doses of Pfizer vaccine manufactured in the US was brought to the country this morning. The cargo was stored at the Kattunayake Airport Cargo Freezer Facility and subsequently transferred to the State Pharmaceuticals Corporation's central warehouse in Colombo. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
And now in Watch Light.
The Controller General of the Department of Immigration and Emigration announced that passports are issued to a limited number of applicants at the Battramula head office of the Department of Immigration, as well as the Matra, Vaunia, Kandy and Kurunegala regional offices, following all health guidelines. Applicants are requested to visit the website www.immigration.gov.lk to reserve a date. And that was Watch Light.
World News.
The headlines: Chinese President Xi Jinping marks 50th anniversary at the UN. The UN warns Afghanistan will face a desperate food crisis. Sudan's civilian leaders arrested amid coup reports. World news in detail now. China's President Xi Jinping marked the country's 50 years of membership in the UN with a speech calling for greater global cooperation. China was a founding member of the UN but was blocked by the US from taking up its seat until 1971. Mr. Xi repeated calls for global cooperation at the UN, adding that issues like terrorism, climate change and cybersecurity required multilateral solutions. The UN World Food Programme has warned millions of Afghans will face starvation this winter unless urgent action is taken. The WFP said more than half the population, about 22.8 million people, face acute food insecurity, while 3.2 million children under 5 could suffer acute malnutrition. Executive Director of the WFP, David Beasley, said Afghanistan is now among the world's worst humanitarian crises, if not the worst. Members of Sudan's transitional government and other civilian leaders have been arrested amid reports of military coup. Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok is among those reported to have been put under house arrest but by unidentified soldiers. Pro-democracy protesters have taken to the streets of the capital, Khartoum. Military and civilian leaders have been at odds since long-time ruler Omar al-Bashir was overthrown 2 years ago and the transitional government set up. Back to the headlines of the world news. Chinese President Xi Jinping marks 50th anniversary at the UN. The UN warns Afghanistan will face a desperate food crisis. Sudan's civilian leaders arrested amid coup reports. And that ends world news.
And now in development news.
Construction of the first village and paddy field electric fence in the Anuradhapura district was inaugurated in the Marakulama village situated in the Thirappane Divisional Secretariat Division recently. Sri Lanka Conservation and Research Centre, headed by the environmental scientist Dr. Preethiviraj Fernando, financed the pilot electric fence project with the cooperation of Marakulama villagers who often face the wild elephant's threat. And that was development news.
Sports news.
The fifth one-day international between Sri Lanka under-19 and Bangladesh under-19 was played at Dambulla International Stadium. Batting first, Sri Lanka scored 240 for 9 wickets in 50 overs. In reply, Bangladesh were 236 for 9 wickets in 50 overs. Sri Lanka won the match by 4 runs. Accordingly, Sri Lanka under-19 won the series 5-0. And that was cricket news. And now we're moving on to more sports news. Ethiopia's Latisanbat Gidi smashed the women's half-marathon world record by running 62 minutes and 52 seconds in Valencia. The 23-year-old beat the previous best over 13.1 miles set by Kenyan Ruth Chepngetich by 70 seconds. Gidi is also the world 5,000-meter and 10,000-meter world record holder, winning bronze in the latter distance at the Tokyo Olympics in the summer. And that was sports news.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to September 30th, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency through NSB U Trust for 6 months consecutively. Send more money and increase the chances of winning.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
MagicBit, an easy-to-use STEM education platform, announced that it has raised $120,000 in its pre-seed financing round led by Sri Lanka's Angel Fund. MagicBit allows students as young as 10 years to build inventions using technologies like IoT, robotics, programming, electronics and AI. With the support of the Angel Fund and the funding raised, the MagicBit team plans to take their award-winning platform to the global markets. And that was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 go sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners.
Economic news, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
In economic news, the nationwide rollout campaign of Lanka QR, an integrated payment system developed by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, was launched today by Minister Namal Rajapaksa. Lanka QR is a project initiative from the Central Bank of Sri Lanka to ensure all QR codes and QR-based transactions in Sri Lanka are standardized and interoperable. Lanka Clear has been entrusted by CBSL to implement the operate Lanka QR. And that was economic news.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
Weather Report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, brings Nanasa app, a trilingual educational mobile app for online learning. With video-based lessons from grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with the Nanasa app. No subscription fees. Download via Google Play Store, App Store, Huawei Store or Windows. Dialogue, the future today.
In the weather report, the Met Department says fairly heavy showers above 75 millimeters can be expected at some places in the Sabragamuwa, Central, Uva, North Central and Eastern provinces and in the Hambantota district. A few showers will occur in the Northern and North Central provinces and in the Trincomalee district. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the Central and Sabragamuwa provinces during the morning. And that was the weather report.
Weather Report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, brings Nanasa app, a trilingual educational mobile app for online learning. With video-based lessons from grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with the Nanasa app. No subscription fees. Download via Google Play Store, App Store, Huawei Store or Windows. Dialogue, the future today.
Now to end this news broadcast, back to the headlines. Measures are in place to commence the GCE ordinary level and advanced level classes. Accounts of Sri Lankans named in the Pandora Papers are being examined. The government decides not to promote palm oil cultivations. More than 3,000 children are on the waiting list for heart surgeries. The all-share price index of the Colombo Stock Exchange crosses the 10,000 points mark. Foreign news, Chinese President Xi Jinping marks 50th anniversary at the UN. Sports cricket, Sri Lanka Under-19 wins the series 5-0. And with that, we end this news broadcast.